Welcome, everybody, to round 2 of the ABN Hyper Formula Championship. Season 3 rolls on once again from Indianapolis through the 4th of July weekend on the other side now to Montreal, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the Ile de Notre Dame. We're here for 45 laps of racing here in Montreal, the Canadian Grand Prix. Race 2 of 12. In Season 3, Indianapolis, pretty electric way to get everything started. It was a Taylor Mills Racing 1-2. They're going to be trying to do the exact same thing here in Canada. But a little bit of a look as far as what you're going to see here at Montreal. Lap length around 2.7 miles is a lap distance around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Temperatures, they're not great for the drivers. They'll be fun to watch though. 78 degrees, the ambient temperature. 113 degrees will be the track temperature at the start of the race here today. Not very high up off of the sea level here, only 28 feet above sea level at this point. 50% humidity, not that bad for all the drivers that are going through this. So heat should be manageable for those engines. The winds though, a lot of straight line speeds, a lot of chicanes, and those 12-mile-an-hour winds could play a factor in how the car handles throughout the Grand Prix here this afternoon as we wind through the man-made island in Montreal. It's a classic racetrack. It's been around for almost 50 years at this point. And we get to come back here for Hyper Formula. Going to be a lot of fun seeing this racing. We've been to Montreal before in the Champ Car World Series, and that was a pretty electric race when that took place. So let's walk through a little bit more as far as what we're going to see here in this race. The results from qualifying are in. It's Neil DeBacker at the pole position, Bianca Constantinou on the front row once again, very similar to how it was at Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. Rachel Conkley, the Hungarian driver, will start in row 2 alongside Taylor Mills. Derek Miller, Josh Gaiman in row 3. Lily Pelletier Sharp in the Gearcats squad make their first start of the season. They're starting in row 4 alongside Bruce Silva. Bruce Silva making her first appearance of the season for Dogbox Racing. They've got Silva there in row 4 as well. Tucker Sawyer, Eli Sasek sitting in row number 5. Rebecca Rennie and Danny Brennan, they're in row 6. Brennan making his first start of the season. Nick Presti, Garnet Adams in row 7. Bobby Crivelli, Alex Martin, both of them making their first starts of the season, sitting in row number 8. Row 9 is Luna Magnil and Guillermo Hernandez to kick off this 18-car field. We had 17 cars last week, 18 here today. So consistent grid sizes once again. All 12 teams now present in the World Championship here for the Grand Prix World Championships. So that's what we're seeing here. You're seeing some cars at the bottom of your screen. We're in final warm-up here. So you're seeing some teams practice a little bit on those warm-ups. You see the amount of time left, less than 5 minutes to go. We'll walk you through some of this right now. Obviously, for those that missed last week's race, each of the teams, each of the 12 teams in the championship have a different manufacturer. Those are indicated on the overlay there. Derek Miller for Arasaka Arrowhead Racing, representing Toyota. Taylor Mills, representing Mazda for Taylor Mills Racing. Danny Brennan for Rainbow Racing, representing Vauxhall. Sorry, Danny Brennan for Taylor Mills Motorsports, representing Vauxhall. Guillermo Hernandez, representing Lamborghini for Rainbow Racing. Alex Martin, representing Volvo for Nico Motors. Yeah, both of Alfreya cars present in the race this afternoon. We only had Rebecca Rennie last time out in Indianapolis. We now have Rennie and Bobby Crivelli for Chevrolet for Valverde Motorsports. We have both the Stepping Stone Motorsport Fords of Bianca Constantinou and Josh Gaiman there. We will look at points as they currently stand here. This is the team's championship standings going into this race. Taylor Mills Racing with that 1-2 and the pole. Definitely doing wonders there. They have a pretty decent gap. They're going to need it here as more and more of those teams begin to figure out these SF23 cars. But the Drivers' Championship is what everyone individually is focusing on here this afternoon. 15 points paying positions in the race. Neil DeBacker, as we mentioned, went lights out and took all the points available. 29 at Indianapolis. Taylor Mills, Tucker Sawyer, top 3 there. Rachel Conkley, who starts in the top 5 again here in Montreal. Bianca Constantinou did not have a great start to the season. Started second, but had a lot of issues there at Indianapolis, hoping for some better momentum to go through here this afternoon. Josh Gaiman there in 6th. So a lot of fighting to do across these remaining 11 races. There are 2 drop rounds in the championship season. You'll see those become a factor later on. The only race that you cannot drop is the final race of the season at Interlagos. So everyone's got some work to do to get things started here. Let's see, less than 2 minutes left here in warm-up. See if we can grab some good live shots here of some of the cars running around on racetrack at the moment. This is your pole sitter, Neil DeBacker, the Belgian, trying to go 2 first 2 to start off his career in ABN. Who says no? Been absolutely electric so far. Earned himself 3 bonus points there. Bianca Constantinou earned another 2 bonus points in qualifying. Derek Miller top of the warm-up times here at the moment. Only one Arrowhead Racing car here. Kyle Taub not present. We'll expect to see him back next time out. Again, next race is a week's time, July 20th. We go to Portugal for a race at the Algarve International Circuit. And then we go to Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix, and then Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Back to back. Gonna be a lot of fun. But warm-up has come to an end. So as the cars get ready to grid up, let's go ahead and walk through the grid. Neil DeBacker, Bianca Constantinou, row 1. Just visualizing what we went over here earlier in the broadcast. Rachel Conkley in 3rd, got that last bonus point from qualifying. Alongside Taylor Mills, Derek Miller, Josh Gaiman, Bruce Silva, Lily Pelletier Sharp, Eli Sasek, Tucker Sawyer. That's your top 10. Rebecca Rennie and Danny Brennan in the 6th row. As everyone gets ready to go here, we'll just look further on at the rest of the field. Pressy, Adams, Crivelli, Martin, Magnild, and Hernandez, the 18 cars here tonight. 45 laps is what all the drivers have to deal with as we get ready to get started here in Montreal. It's Neil DeBacker at the front of the field. Can he do what he did at Indianapolis, or will Constantinou have a fight to say? The lights come on. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's time to get underway. We're racing in Montreal. Constantinou once again bogged down, and teammates make contact. DeBacker goes around. Taylor Mills led the way, but trouble on the opening lap for the teammates that have led the way. Derek Miller in trouble and backwards on lap 1. And I believe that was with Rachel Conkley. It was. So trouble throughout the field here. Huge stack-up crash, and that is going to be the first caution of the race. First caution of the season. And we will have to take a look back at that as things happen here, but that is a huge shift on the opening lap here in Montreal. So an opening lap crash for the first time brings out the safety car in the Hyper Formula Championship. And immediately we have 13 cars running. And that starts all the way at the very beginning of this race. So we're going to look at this and see what happened. We saw it from a distance, but now we'll see it a little bit closer. And this is, again, front of the field, Neil DeBacker. Taylor Mills got around Constantinu. DeBacker just slides it a little bit too much. Contact with Taylor Mills there. The 15 and the 16 get together, and DeBacker goes for a wild spin. Taylor Mills seems to have overall saved it. But that's a really dangerous rejoin there as well. And then you see as everything sort of piles through here, Derek Miller is going to end up being involved in this. And you're playing in slow motion, and this is Miller and Conkley, and netcode plays a factor there and destroys the 14 and the 7. Peltier Sharp gets through. Not so fortunate there, believe. That would have been, I don't know if that was the ascent car of Sawyer or Sasek. But you see the melee all the way through there. Everyone's stacked up. A little bit overambitious there by Hernandez, trying to go 3 wide through that. And that's for Alex Martin and Luna Magnol to get involved. Now we see the caution comes out shortly thereafter. So this is Constantinu leading the way under caution. Several cars in pit lane. There is a imperative to try to continue this race. Again, as I mentioned earlier, top 15 score points in the Grand Prix. There's 13 cars on track at the moment. Alex Martin is out, so he will not be contesting for one of those points-paying positions. But also remember, for those that have been out of the loop a little bit, there's been a lot of server issues on iRacing. Mostly the last 10 days, we've seen attacks on the iRacing system that has really shifted how the servers are handling things at the moment. So we saw netcode be a huge factor in that second crash we saw with Derek Miller and Rachel Conkley. Obviously, everyone was able to get a good getaway, but then as soon as you got to turn 1, it was pandemonium. Although netcode was not an issue for Taylor Mills and Neil DeBacker on that one. That was just straight up teammate on teammate accident there. Rule 1 being violated there on the opening corner. This does shift things around though a little bit. Constantinu gets a lucky break, had a poor getaway again, but the Taylor Mills Racing teammates took themselves out there. Mills in 10th, DeBacker in 9th. They've come down pit lane. Peltier Sharp did not race at Indianapolis, is here, and now second place for Gearcats Peugeot. Bruce Silva for Dogbox Racing Porsche up to 3rd in her first race of the season. Nick Presti up to 4th after winning on Wednesday for the first time in almost 3 years in the ABN Champ Car World Series. Now is looking at a possible podium place ahead of him. He's sitting in 4th ahead of Rebecca Rennie and Bobby Crivelli 5th and 6th. Danny Brennan in his first race for Taylor Mills Motorsports, now ahead of his teammate cars, his sister team cars, the Mazdas of Taylor Mills Racing. once again, sorting back through here. Josh Gaiman sitting in 8th. You have Sawyer, DeBacker, Mills, Adams. Sasek is possible there. Martin and Magnold are out of this race completely. Hernandez, Conkley, and Miller. Derek Miller is out of this race, so there's 3 cars immediately out. So you're looking at potentially 13 cars or 15 cars running if Hernandez and Conkley can get back going. For the damage that Conkley had for Prismatic Motorsports, that seems like a little bit of a stretch. But you never know. Hernandez also now out on the opening lap. So again, under caution here for the first time. Full safety car deployment in Season 3. It happens here in Montreal. A chain reaction crash. It's really a 3-course meal of collisions there. Single file on the restart here is coming up. You'll see the lights on that Porsche Pacer car go off. So Constantinu will lead the field to green ahead of Pelletier, Sharp, and Silva. And now the big question for these drivers right now, getting tire heat back in. You start with a certain amount of tire heat in the cars for the standing starts. You don't have that now. That is completely gone away. The tires are going to be ice cold, and these tires, these Yokohama Advan tires, are extremely tire sensitive, and when they get cold, they are rough. Do we see chain reactions from the accident that we saw on lap 1? Do we see something similar here on this restart because they are so cold? Can drivers tiptoe around the opening lap and a half to get buildup into those tires? That is the next big question. Constantinu had a lot of issues with tire temperature and trying to get those reined in. Is that going to be a factor now with these tires basically set to as cold as possible? We talk about the air temp and the track temp. That only helps so much. It helps when you're at racing speed, but when you're just rolling around under caution here and the pace speed here is 55 miles an hour, there's not a lot you can do. I would not be surprised if there's a lot of tire warming on the back straightaway here coming into the final couple corners. Several cars out. Sawyer, Martin, Magnold, Hernandez, and Miller. Conkley will try to get back going if possible. Staying in pit lane, but it seems like that car may be out. So Prismatic's down to 1 car. NECA Motors is out. Ascent Racing's got 1 car out. Rainbow Racing is out. Arasaka Arrowhead Racing is out. And Dogbox Racing down to 1 car. But the pace car will take the the left-hand corner instead of going through the chicane. It is on green here in this restart. And that's what Constantine is doing. Once they see the green flag, everyone's going to stack up here and away we go. And this is where it could get ugly once again. Everyone largely gets through, they're unscathed, but that's not going to be the bigger issue. This upcoming chicane will be an issue, especially the further back you look, side by side. Gaiman got completely snookered out by the Taylor Mills racing cars, who had to make a pit stop and drop to the back of the field. Everyone trying to make some room happen. Garnet Adams tried to go for a pass there on Josh Gaiman. It did not stick. there goes Adams for a spin. And trouble, huge trouble here. And is that more contact for the Taylor's Mills racing cars? It is. But that's not just them, because Eli Sassik's had trouble. So did Bobby Crivelli. Not sure what's going on there. This is Neil DeBacher. And it looks like his race may be over. It is. He's going to come to a stop there on the other side of the hairpin. Whoa, that was close for Eli Sassik, almost running into the back of Garnet Adams. A lot of cars down pit lane here. This is crucial. That's Taylor Mills missing a front wing. You see what's left of Rachel Conkley's car. That car is completely destroyed. Danny Brennan in pit lane as well. Absolute insanity here. As I mentioned, tire temperatures are going to be vital to manage on the opening laps of this restart because of how cold those tires get. We'll pull up the weather on display here. Track temp's not bad. It's 115 degrees Fahrenheit, but again, that means next to nothing when you're under formation lap for 3 laps. Those tire temps get so cold, and there is an optimum temperature window that the drivers are just now hitting now. So cars in pit lane, we'll have to see if we can figure out what happened there with the Taylor Mills racing cars once again, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. So everyone gets up to speed here. Let's look at what happened in this incident. This is with Crivelli, who just gets loose. Net code there, net code once, net code twice. And then obviously teammate not having anywhere to go there. I don't know if that's between DeBacher and Crivelli, and then Mills gets tagged in, or if it's inverse there, but that's Crivelli and how his race comes to a complete close. Further down the order here, here's where Crivelli has issues. Or sorry, where Pressy has issues. Oh, and that's just in the wall of champions. And Danny Brennan has nowhere to go. And again, cold tires on that one. You have to back it down on those cold tires, and Pressy just overestimated those tires dramatically. A lot of overestimation on the grip in these Yokohama tires, especially after what we saw at Indianapolis, and just off of the start, the amount of temperatures, and after pit lanes and pit stops, the amount that you needed to work to get the tires up to temperature. It's not like we're racing on a track temp that's less than like 100 degrees, it's 90 degrees, something like that, where you don't have the ability to get the temperature up. It's 115, now 113 because of the cloud cover. You just need to wait a couple laps to make it happen. So Constantinu leads over Pelletier Sharp, who's taking it easy on these first couple laps. Remember, Pelletier Sharp did not race at Indianapolis. This is a fresh start for Pelletier Sharp and for Silva. So for Gearcats and for Dogbox Racing, they still have one car in the race. Josh Gaiman up to 4th, so Stepping Stone Motorsports could really gain a lot here. I think teams got to be grateful that you still score points even if you don't finish. If we're following the European system, if you don't finish, you don't score points. Obviously, we don't do that. If you finish top 15 or if you score top 15, you still scores points. So that's pretty important in the giant span of things there. Obviously, this race has taken a bit of a beating in the opening 10 laps. Peltier Sharp tags the wall there just a smidge on the backside of the circuit there. Silva and Gaiman, and then you have Garnet Adams, who's had an early spin, but otherwise avoided the melee. And maybe that early spin on the restart, not a bad thing, allowed all the drama to go around. And now Adams can sit in the top 5 and sit relatively calm and patient. Rebecca Rennie has also made a pit stop, made a legal pit stop, so they are good to go for the rest of the race. All of this very, very important. Rebecca Rennie is sitting right now in the 6th position. Eli Sasek in 7th after having to get a front wing change. Taylor Mills also down pit lane, having to get repairs done on her machine. Spent 29 seconds in her box. Now sits about 54 seconds away from the race leader Constantinou. For a brief moment, Mills was ahead of Constantinou and now sits on the verge of going a lap down. Constantinou leads the way. 8 cars running out of the 18 that started. It has been an absolute disaster class in how to start a race here this afternoon. But this shakes up the field completely. Neil de Backer, who we thought had a chance of just running away with the field here, sits in pit lane in 9th. Maybe race over for de Backer. And that allows everyone to close back in. So Constantinou leads the way here. And weather on your screen momentarily, just so you can kind of get a gauge as what the drivers are dealing with on track. Humidity's gone down just a little bit. Garnet Adams will come down pit lane. It looks like this could be standard service. And it will be standard service. Garnet Adams will come back out of pit lane. Will get passed by Sasek here. There's Taylor Mills down the front straightaway as well. Garnet Adams will stay ahead of the Mazda of Taylor Mills. Constantinou right now staying at the front of the field. Peltier Sharp in pit lane. Again, legal pit stops. They were supposed to be made between lap 5 and lap 40. Obviously, we've passed the lap 5 point. We're now on lap 12. So everyone's making those legal pit stops now, except for Constantinou and for Silva. And with Constantinou, reasonable to not want to jump down pit lane immediately with the issues that she had 2 weeks ago at Indy. Would like to finally have some time on warm tires that have optimal grip before having to make that pit stop to come down pit lane. The big thing for Constantinou is that she's got 7.7 seconds over Silva right now, that she can take care of those tires a little bit and get them that longer range here this afternoon. Silva for Dogbox Racing right now sitting in 2nd. So right now sitting second place. Constantinu has come down pit lane. So that has changed a little bit. Constantinu electing to make an early pit stop gives Silva the lead. Constantinu comes out easily in second place there. Peltier Sharp in third. So Silva, when pit stops come around, should end up recycling back into the third position, I do believe. Josh Gaiman also came down pit lane on lap 11. And now sitting in the fourth position, Rebecca Rennie in the top 5. Having made that pit stop on lap 5. They are good to go to the end of the race. Almost threw it away there. Rennie sitting right now about 4 seconds ahead of Eli Sasek. There is the Ascent Racing driver. Now the sole points scorer on track for the team. Sawyer will score 3 points, having finished 13th in this race. Sasek trying to add as much as he can to that points total. Garnet Adams sitting right now in the 7th position, the only driver for Prismatic Motorsports still running, while the team also contests the 24 Hours of Spa. Adams really wiggling that car around. A lot of cars out. Neil DeBacher is out, Danny Brennan out, Nick Pressey out, Crivelli still in pit lane, but likely out of this race as well. And again, it does leave us with 8 cars. And again, next week we go from a track that's hard to pass here in Montreal to a track that should be pretty wide open when we go to Algarve in Portugal. Adams and Sasek not far apart, about 1.3 apart right now. And then Taylor Mills not far away either. Bruce Silva just set the fastest lap of the race. Did an outstanding job. You'll see if we can pull up the lap times there. A 1:21.541 for Silva. As Rennie comes back down pit lane. And this looks like it will be not standard service. Not sure what's going on with Rebecca Rennie. Looks like we're going to have a pretty decent way of figuring it out what happened to the number 4 machine from Off-Brand Motorsports. A lot of curbing and contact at the back of the car. So that is damage repair for the number 4. And Silva continues to lead the way. Constantinu just took the fastest lap of the race away by not much, 1:21.526. A little over a tenth, a little under over 100th. right now sitting in the second position, trying to close in. Silva's managing the pace pretty well over Constantio and Peltier Sharp. This could be interesting, seeing how this all develops. Constantino sitting second place right now. Silva still leads, and the gap's actually opened up a little bit more here. So Constantino trying to push is losing time here. 124.03 last time around for Constantino compared to the 122.1 by Bruce Silva. And right now it's a bit of a runway for Silva. Silva actually has a chance of really opening up the gap here, especially if she stays out long on these tires. Has a genuine ability to try to pull out. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to pull out 35, 36 seconds. But if you can pull out 25 and get a tire advantage later on in this race, that becomes very, very lucrative. A little bit further back in the order, we have Taylor Mills Racing and Prismatic Motorsports about to do battle here with their remaining cars in the field. See how this battle goes here. Here comes Taylor Mills to the inside, approaching the wall of champions. Side by side, does not work. Adams has to bail the corner. Mills gets the spot. So Mills up to 6th in damage limitation mode. Adams tried to brake late with Mills and just ran out of real estate. Mills gave plenty of space for that, but I think it's just very easy to spot that you can't put two cars in the wall in the chicane leading to the wall of champions like that. Otherwise, you both could end up in the wall of champions. And we've seen the net code in this race as well. Adams living to race another lap here. Silva running around right now, 18.1 ahead of Constantino. It's the Brazilian ahead of the Romanian, ahead of the French woman. Peltier Sharp looking for a podium to kick off her season after missing Indianapolis. Remember, there are 2 drop rounds. So Indianapolis, by the time we get to the final race in Interlagos, will not count towards Peltier Sharp. Likewise, you look at some of the drivers out of this race, some of the many drivers out of this race already. This could be a race that could end up being dropped, and for some of them, they're going to hope it does get dropped. Again, for those that don't understand drop rounds, it is your 2 worst results. If you miss a race, that becomes a drop round immediately because you're not present. If you make every race, then it's just your 2 lowest results by your finishing position. Interlagos, the final race of the season, can't be dropped. That way, that race is the official standings at the end of the season. Same thing applies to the ABN Champ Car World Series. There's just more drop rounds in Champ Car because there's more races. Mills trying to close in on Eli Sasek here and get into the top 5. Sasek's in the top 5 right now. Constantini just had a 1:21.4, but only matching Silva right now, not really gaining a ton. Taylor Mills is the fastest driver on track. A 1:21.12 is what we're seeing right now. Constantino is beginning to gain a little bit, though. The tire overlaps, I think, beginning about the halfway point. Silva has not come down pit lane yet in this race. Is the only driver that's not been to pit lane at all. 1:21.7. We'll see what Constantino sets here, but it looks like it could be another 1:21.4. Looking at the gap that's come down just a little bit. Again, for Taylor Mills and Eli Sasek, they're going to go at it here for the top 5. Honda versus Mazda. And Sasek trying to play very defensive. Knows what Taylor Mills about. Mills tries to send it. Will try to send it still and blows the chicane. Big time. Will drop down. Tried to late brake on Sasek. Sasek driving defensively. Drove expertly to defend there, that 5th position. And again, for Taylor Mills, this is critical. This is absolutely mission critical right now. 2nd place in the championship, your teammate out of this race in 9th. Silva, who did not race last time out of Indy, becoming a threat, but will not over jump Taylor Mills in this fight unless Mills somehow has a disaster in these last 23 laps. Peltier Sharp was not present last week. Constantino finished 6th, but Constantino would need a win, and that's exactly what she's going to end up looking at right now, taking the lead back over. Silva leaving pit lane now, will leave pit lane in 3rd place. And just barely, there's Peltier Sharp. So Silva almost got that leapfrog for 2nd. Gaiman just went fastest, 1:21.12, taking it away from Taylor Mills. There's a bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, and now it's a fight. Silva's got fresh tires, the freshest of the bunch. That could be a factor as well. Bruce Silva could end up with the fastest lap point by the time this race is over. And again, we have plenty of racing to go here this weekend. Later on tonight here on ABN Studios on YouTube, it is the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series on NR 2003. That begins at 8 p.m. And tomorrow on ABN 1 on Twitch, it is the Winston Cup Series from Watkins Glen. And on ABN 2, it is the ARCS A-Square Cup Series from Daytona. So, 4 races in 2 days. And by the way, we have the Platinum Endurance Championship, the 6th season, firing up here next month. So Gaiman right now, fast lap of the race until Constantino just set the 1:21.05. It is an arms race for that fastest lap. But realistically, it's going to be. With 7 cars still running, everyone's got real estate to try to make some room, to make some magic happen for that fast lap, except for these two right now. Mills, Sasek, they pit on lap 5. That was the earliest possible opportunity that they could have pit. They're going to go the longest time on these Yokohama tires. Taylor Mills in 6th. Eli Sasek in 5th. This is a battle for the top 5. Once again between Honda and Mazda. And Sasek got really loose there, not what he needed. Taylor Mills a lot smoother on the throttle. Push to pass and use for Sasek. You see the flashing LEDs. Sasek knows this is the opportunity you do not want to give Taylor Mills. The back and forth down the back straightaway along the river. Sasek defends there. Has to defend again. Sasek defends the inside lane. Mills goes to the outside. Side by side. Into turn 1. Almost contact there. Netcode, that's very tricky between these two. Hard fighting. Remember netcode, you cannot get that close and get away with it too many times. But that's exactly what they've both done. And they're going to continue to duke it out here. Absolutely wild. And for Sasek, this does mean a lot. He was the first ever winner in Hyper Formula in Season 1 at Phillip Island. He's been in this series since the start. And now he's going up against one of the best, and Taylor Mills. Both of them recovering from damage earlier in this race. Over under does not work. Sasek goes for a loop. Tried to outmaneuver Taylor Mills. In that position, it does not pay off. But they gave it an honest shot. Constantino, fast lap of the race, a 1:21 flat. Pelletier Sharp was able to match her previous best with a 1:21.05. But Constantino immediately answered back. And Sasek coming down pit lane. You mean you as well. Get fresh tires. Hope that Taylor Mills also has to come down pit lane once again and try to make something happen there. Top 4 relatively close here. Pelletier Sharp 6 seconds behind Constantino. Silva 3 seconds behind Pelletier Sharp. Gaiman less than 2 seconds behind Silva, so there could be a battle for third coming up here. Mills on an island right now with Garnet Adams just about 3 seconds adrift, so we still could see a battle for the top 5 here. Garnet Adams has fresher tires than Taylor Mills at the moment. And Garnet Adams just set the best Sector 3 time of anybody. But Constantino leads the way. Here comes Gearcats. Pelletier Sharp. The gold and black Peugeot. Silva in 3rd. And Gaiman in 4th. F1 on very differing strategies at the moment. There's Josh Gaiman in the 4th spot. Again, looking at the dog box racing car of Silva. These two have raced a lot before. So Gaiman knows what to expect of Silva. Silva knows what to expect of Gaiman. And Gaiman almost lost it in that chicane, trying to push really hard there. Did not pay off quite so much. We'll drop to about 2 seconds off the pace there of Silva. You can see how close they're getting to that wall. Netcode contact there for Silva. Adams once again. That 3rd sector, the high speed sector, Garnet Adams has been untouchable. 33.3 that sector time, no one else even close. Next closest person in the sector time is 33.9. She's running 0.6 faster on the highest portion of the track, where there's not really a lot of time to gain. What it indicates is the usage of push to pass. Again, for those that are tuning in and watching here on ABN Studios, we appreciate spending your Saturday afternoon with us. Spend your Saturday evening with us as well as we head to Phoenix for the Champ Car Challenger Series. 32 cars racing on the 1 mile Superfast Oval. 8 p.m. tonight. Hyper Formula Championship. Teams of 2 take on 12 races. This is the second of 12. 200-kilometer events. So 2/3 of a full Grand Prix race distance. What a wild time it's been. Adams sitting right now in the 6th position, hitting that last chicane pretty well. Again, we're looking to see, it's between Garnet Adams and Taylor Mills and between Bruce Silva and Josh Gayman as to where this battle's going to be. And it looks like it's going to be for 3rd. There's Josh Gayman, there's Bruce Silva. Top 3 at the moment. Silva and Gayman once again duking it out here. 8/10 the gap is where we're currently sitting. Nine-tenths the gap now. Silva a little bit better than that last chicane. Dirtier going to be a factor a little bit now. You see Peltier Sharp not far away either. This could become a 3-car fight. This really does kind of remind me of the Champ Car race we had here at Montreal back in Season 2. It was a 3-car fight. There wasn't a lot of cars left in that race, but it was a 3-car fight between Emma Kruger, Christina Ryan, and I believe it was Kyle Taub at that point. 3-car fight. They were 3 wide in the IR18s in Montreal. We're kind of seeing that shape up here. We have 7 cars left. We had 11 cars then, but we had more cars starting at that race. We had 22 that started in Montreal in the ABN Champ Car World Series. So the percentages are about the same of where we're at right now. So these drivers on track still. It is still full send. Everything's on the line because this is a really good opportunity for drivers that either missed the opening round and did not score are entering with 0 points, or drivers that did not have a good race at Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. And you're seeing that. Peltier Sharp just opened up the fast lap of the race, a 1:20.4. Holy cow, that's fast. 4/10 clear of Constantinu's previous best. Gayman was getting there. Gayman got a 1:20.9, but Peltier Sharp 1:20.4. Rocket ship Peugeot for the Golden Black. But you're seeing that Silva's getting a little bit closer still. Waiting to see this battle turn to a 3-car fight. It's not far away. Solo with the freshest tires of the bunch. Pit on lap 22. Sharp and Gaiman both pit on lap 11. But theoretically, everyone that's still running can get to the end of the race from here. Oh, Gaiman goes around. Gaiman goes around hard, does not hit the wall, thankfully. Really good job saving it, but that throws him out of the battle for third for the moment. Now he's going to be on an island. Silva now gets the focus on Pelletier Sharp and immediately pull Pelletier Sharp within 2 seconds. So that's huge. Again, you're looking at this fight here, and it's just incredible where we're at right now with this fight between Pelletier Sharp and Silva. 10-lap difference in tires between these two. And Pelletier Sharp's not showing any age on those tires at all. They're getting so close to that wall, it's insane. That is insane. We'll do a live look at points right now as things currently stand. Well, so here's the live look at points as they currently stand. So Neil DeBacker would hold on to the points lead just barely. Constantine would move up to second, as you see where everyone's at right now. It's sort of showing you the live look here. So this is again a live look at where we're at, just by default, where the points stand. If everyone holds on to the finishing position right now, it'd be a tie position at the top of the board between DeBacker and Constantinu. DeBacker has a race win and pole positions. That's tiebreaker. Constantinu have a race win but not have pole positions. Taylor Mills would be third. Josh Gaiman fourth. Pelletier Sharp fifth. That's why Taylor Mills is fighting so hard. Every position gained here for Taylor Mills is a chance to close in on her teammate, but also on Constantinu to apply the pressure to the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver. Peltier Sharp from 0 points to 21, right now holding the fastest lap bonus point. Sawyer would be at 19, and you just see how much the shifting happens immediately in this field. That's going to be insane. And again, we'll follow that along, and we'll show it again at the end of this race once we get through these next 11 laps. But that's what things are looking like right now. And again, that can change with pit stops if drivers have to make more pit stops in this race. Absolutely wild stuff, though. Here so far today, a wild race I don't think anyone was expecting to be quite so wild. But that's where we're at right now. Again, looking at Silva. Silva losing some time there on Peltier Sharp, which is not normal given the position that Silva's got right now tire-wise. Gaiman just took the fastest lap away. Fourth place, Josh Gaiman, a 1:19.992. That's a fast lap. And Gaiman did not come in after he spun. That's the important thing to note here. See Gaiman right now. Racing for the defending teams champions, Stepping Stone Motorsports. They won the teams championship in Season 2. They're trying to defend it here in Season 3. Right now, Stepping Stone Motorsports now has the fast lap bonus point. Right on board with Gaiman just for a lap here around Montreal, and he almost loops it there. That would have been less than ideal. Taylor Mills just at the fastest final sector lap time for a 1:20.26. Right now, trying to go for his fastest lap point here. Again, every point counts at the top of the board. And that's the thing for Constantinu. If Constantinu could capture that fastest lap point, that would put Constantinu at the top of the championship order. obviously the great unknown of Algarve next week. It's a race it's a track we've never been to in ABN. But it's an amazing facility over in Portugal. We get to go there for the first time next week. Santanu leads by 5.5 seconds. Sasek not far away from going a lap down. Sasek took an extra pit stop there, as we mentioned earlier in this race, on lap 25. He's running some pretty fast lap times as well. Seconds. That gap's coming down pretty quickly now. Obviously, we're in the last 6 laps of this race, but Pelletier Sharp looking pretty good as things stand at the moment, opening up a 5-point gap to Silva. Pelletier Sharp down the front straightaway. You saw Constantino just in the background there. The gap is now 4.6 seconds. Pelletier Sharp is on a roll right now. Fastest lap belongs to Josh Gaiman at a 1:19.9. Still that way. No, it wasn't. 1:19.550, which makes sense because Pelletier Sharp shaved a second out of Constantino. Absolutely wild. 4.1 the gap with 5 laps to go. .0. Again, Silva beginning to be under pressure more from Josh Gaiman here. .1 opens up a little bit now. Pelletier Sharp takes the fastest lap point, a 1:19.5, a full second faster than Constantino's fastest lap of a 1:20.56. Really good run through that chicane. Below 4 seconds now. Lap time there, still 4/10 faster. Silva's personal best, 1:20.6. Gaiman with 1:20.0. So we may have a really close battle there for third in the final laps here in Montreal. Sharp through the hairpin here, 3.5 the gap. It feels like Constantino's got that insurmountable gap. but you never know with coming to 3 laps to go. 1.5 the gap between Silva and Gaiman. That could be an interesting fight here. We're just going to see if it closes up anymore. Constantino hit that chicane really good that time. 120.79 compared to Pelletier Sharp's 7.1. Josh Gaiman's closing in big time on Silva through 1 and 2. Taylor Mills a 120.11. Again, sort of just on an island here. Cap's almost down to exactly a second here in this battle for the 3rd position. The final step on the podium could still change hands, coming to 2 laps to go. The Ascent Racing car, that is Eli Sasek, going a lap down. He's going to get out of the way of these 2 battling. Wise move there, 7/10 the gap. Josh Gaiman on it in that final chicane. Oh, how the tides could turn. Here they go, 2 laps to go. Silva trying to get a podium for Dog Box Racing. Stepping Stone Motorsports trying to get a double podium if they can. Oh, that's really close there between Gaiman and Silva. They know it's on the stake, they know it's on the line. If these 2 have an incident, Taylor Mills gets 3rd. That's Taylor Mills top of the standings, which is crazy to think about. Coming to the final lap this time for Bianca Constantino through the chicane. She'll take the white flag. 1 lap to go for the race leader. Biggest battle on track though at the moment is for 3rd. Gaiman giving it everything to try to make a pass happen. He's got 1 more lap to do it. They've taken the white flag. 1 lap to go in Montreal. And this is for podium between Constantino, Sharp, and Silva. Gaiman in 4th. 2/10 the gap. Oh, this is going to be close. It's going to be very, very, very close for Josh Gaiman if he can try to make it happen here. Right there on the gearbox, sends it to the inside lane, can't make it stick there, and he loops it on the very last lap. On the very last lap, he loops it. Silva will hold on to 3rd. Constantino goes through the final corner for the final time. Almost throws it away, does throw it away! Oh, that was scary. Constantino goes on to win in Montreal. Pelletier Sharp takes 2nd and takes the fast lap bonus point with it. Silva takes 3rd. Josh Gaiman will come home with 4th place. Taylor Mills comes home top 5. And Garnet Adams will come home in the 6th position. Peltier Sharp with the fastest lap bonus point does secure those 21 points. That was a wild turn of events there. Absolutely wild. Constantinu wins. You see everyone. That's why all the finishers are right here. Really good photo moment there for everyone. So Constantinu with the race win, Peltier Sharp second, Silva third is your podium finishers here this evening. And that was an absolutely wild turn of events. Let's go over, we'll show you the full results here as they were. This was qualifying. Neil DeBacker, Constantinu, and Conkley, they got the bonus points there for the qualifying points there. And then obviously we look at the race as things were. Bianca Constantinu gets the 25 race points there, on top of the 2 bonus points for qualifying. Peltier Sharp, 20 points for finishing second, plus the fastest lap bonus point for 21 points on the evening. Bruce Silva third, ahead of Josh Gaiman, Taylor Mills, Garnet Adams, and Eli Sasek, the 7 that finished the race. Rebecca Rennie 8th, scoring 8 points there. Danny Brennan scoring points for 9th. Neil DeBacker from the pole position to 10th place. Nick Pressey in 11th. Bobby Crivelli in 12th. Sawyer, Conkley, and Miller scoring your final points there. Alex Martin will go without. So will Luna Magnild and Guillermo Hernandez at the very end of the race here. And then we'll look at the points as they currently stand. It is, again, tie ball game. Top of the board between DeBacker and Constantinu with wins apiece for both of them. DeBacker has tiebreaker on the 2 pole positions. Taylor Mills in 3rd place. Josh Gaiman 4th. Peltier Sharp up to 5th. Tucker Sawyer losing 3 spots after finishing on the podium last time out in Indianapolis. Did not finish this evening. Stays at 19 points. Garnet Adams with 18. Bruce Silva with 16. Rachel Conkley, Rebecca Rennie, your top 10 in the point standings here in Montreal. And then you look a little bit further down in the teams order here. Top 10 on the teams. Not a whole lot has changed at the top of the board. Taylor Mills Racing and Stepping Stone, though, a lot closer together. 69 and 61 points at the top. Prismatic Motorsports, 3rd place ahead of Ascent Racing, Dogbox Racing, Gearcats, Nick Pressey Motorsports, Taylor Mills Motorsports, Valfreya, and Neko Motors. The top 10, Arasaka Arrowhead Racing with just 2 points in 2 races, and Rainbow Racing, after making their first appearance of the season here in Montreal, go without any points at all. Hernandez DNFing at the very start. Wild stuff there. We do have podium interviews to conduct. So let's go ahead and start with, let's see if we can start with Bruce Silva here. Let's go ahead and start with Peltier Sharp, 2nd place. We'll start with that, and then we'll see if Bruce Silva wants to do an interview, and then if not, we'll go to Bianca Constantinu. But it's fastest lap and 2nd place points for Lily Peltier Sharp. First race of the season for Gearcats. Lily, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
What a drive. What a crazy turn of events for you. Obviously, first race of the season, missed Indianapolis. You come into one of the most chaotic races we've seen in this series, but you grab a lot of points there, and you grab fastest lap. Walk us through it.
Survival off the start was key, because it's so easy to wheel spin these cars. And then surviving the carnage that happened. First, I think it was it the 2 TMR cars together? And then I think third and fourth getting into it and me having to take to the grass to avoid it. So I think I already had enough carnage, and then really it was strategy-wise important, because thing with the Super Formula cars, the tires get faster the longer you go. So actually, an early pit stop was the way to go. So when me and Bia made that early pit stop, it was about bringing them up to temperature and then just trying not to lose too much time to Brew, because Brew would have the faster tires up until the pit stop. And she gained by about a second. But then after that, it was just controlling it to the end. And that fastest lap attempt surprised me, because I tried it once before. I accidentally broke the 3 board instead of the 2 board into the final chicane and threw it away. So really glad I got on the second attempt, and just a great finish overall at the end, and a fun race considering I couldn't see through half of it because my glasses were fogged up too much.
Obviously, you did a phenomenal job here this evening. First race of the season, you grab a podium. Now we go to a track that we've never been to in ABN before. We go to Portimao, we go to Algarve. How are you feeling, especially coming off the podium here? How are you feeling going into a race in Portugal next week?
If I make it, because I might be busy that week, then it's going to be difficult because of how the elevation changes. It's going to be so difficult controlling the power because of the suspension unloading of the turns. So really, it's just going to be all about your rear end tire management more than anything.
It's going to be a lot of fun here next week. Hopefully we get to see you on track. If not, then we will see you again in Barcelona to kick off the month of August. Before we let you go, though, if there's anyone you shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on starting off your season with a podium. Really good way to start off the season here, both on Wednesday and here on Saturday. You grab a podium out of all of that, and you look competitive at Michigan on Wednesday.
Yeah, just big thank you, Emma, for keeping Gear Cats running, and as well to Bia for just being fast and just always keeping me at my limit. We were sort of matching each other for large parts of that race, and it was just fun to try and push myself whilst keeping the car underneath me.
Well, Lily, congratulations again on the podium finish here and the fastest lap bonus. Absolutely phenomenal lap time there to get the fastest lap point and getting Gear Cats on the board. We will hopefully see you again on Saturday, but if not, we'll also see you on Wednesday in Iowa.
Yep. Thank you.
That was Lily Pelletier-Sharp, the second place finisher here in Montreal. We'll go ahead and talk to the third place finisher, Bruce Silva, the Brazilian for Dogbox Racing, who finished third here in Montreal, getting Dogbox a really good score of points here in the Canadian Grand Prix. Brew, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, yeah. Hi.
What a race. What a couple battles you had with Josh Gaiman there for that final podium spot. Walk us through your race. Obviously, the chaos there really shuffling things around, but you had the pace there in that Porsche to really go for the podium. Just walk us through the strategy call there. Obviously, you made a pit stop there a little bit later compared to everyone else. Walk us through that decision and walk us through just sort of the battles you had today once we got everything settled in.
Okay, so yeah, I saw that everyone was pitting, everyone that was in front of me. I considered just keep going because my lap times were still improving. I was having a good flow. I was feeling good, and I wasn't so sure of the strategy. It's been a while since I did a long race in this car, so I just went for a standard 50-50. I'm gonna pit in near the half point of the race. Probably would have been better to pit earlier. The tires do last a long time, but well, it worked out. And I was also hoping that P2 and 3 would catch each other and fight, maybe. You know, that was a possibility, and I would be out of that. But that didn't happen. Then lap time started dropping, so I decided I'm just going to pit. I'm going to reset my mind, reset the tires. Worked out. And yeah, then after I exited, Gaiman was closing in. And I was sure he was going to pass me. Then he spun, and then was basically at the. I mean, I'm just gonna chill now. I'm sure. I'm sure I can keep the pace. And then he just started going faster and faster and faster, and suddenly he closed a 10-second gap behind me. And then basically it was just a matter of, well, I know he's faster than me by now. I was starting making a little bit more mistakes than before. It is very tiring to drive this car for so long. I'm used to driving endurance races, but this car is really finicky. You really are on the edge all the time. So I was basically just managing the overtake and making sure that he's gonna catch me, but I'm going to at least have overtake until the last lap and make sure it's gonna be hard for him. And he ended up spinning, trying to overtake me, and it worked out in the end.
Obviously, a phenomenal race for you here. Obviously, starting your season here at Montreal and not Indianapolis 2 weeks ago. We move forward to Portugal, to Algarve, there in Portimao. How exciting is it to go to a track, especially a track that we've never been to in ABN before, a track that is going to present a completely new level of challenges, but a level playing field with everyone having the same experience level going into that race?
Extremely exciting because I've never been there. Probably did a few test drives here and there, but I never actually did a race there. So it's a brand new track for me. I guess for a lot of people also it's going to be a brand new track. So it's really exciting to go somewhere new.
It's going to be a lot of fun seeing everyone go to Portimao. Hopefully we get to have less netcode issues there and more cars battling there at the finish. But a P3 finish for you here for Dogbox Racing. A phenomenal result. Before we let you go and let you get ready for all the races coming up ahead, if there's anyone you want to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the podium and that amazing battle there at the end.
I want to shout out Luna. Told her we'll get a podium for her, and I got it on my first race, so here you go. Shout out to Diesel for the paints, the entirety of Dogbox, Makani Setup Shop, and my wife. And Australia also. Shout out to Australia.
Absolutely phenomenal job, Bruce Silva. P3 here in Montreal. Phenomenal job for the Dogbox Racing driver. Podium for the first time for that team here in Hyper Formula. Enjoy it, Brew. We'll see you hopefully next weekend.
See you next weekend. Bye-bye.
Phenomenal job, Bruce Silva. P3 here in Montreal. We'll talk now to the driver that takes a second place position in points on tiebreaker, level with Neil DeBacker. Bianca Constantinou, talk about washing away Indianapolis and attacking with full momentum here. A race win in Montreal, no fastest lap, so you're stuck there tied at the top of the board, but a race win after surviving a lot of early chaos. Walk us through it. See if there's any microphone activity there for Constantinou. Maybe muted there.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was talking to no one. So it really just shocked me to see Taylor Mills get such a great start off the line. I still need to figure out the start in these things. But it kind of helped me out because they just killed each other and helped me kind of walk away with it. But really unfortunate for the both of them. I feel like they would have both deserved to be at the top. Neil obviously should have walked away with this given his pace. But, you know, that's just racing sometimes, and you take these wins when you can. The goal now, I guess, is to try and just practice even more, I guess, because I didn't really, you know, I put so much focus on HDL lately that I just stopped practicing for anything else. And it's time to realize that, you know, okay, now I'm in a good point situation. Let's see what we can do here in Hyper Formula and actually like give it everything in terms of practice and in terms of getting that lap time out, because you know, this is a win, and it's obviously I'm really happy, but it's kind of, you know, obviously a bit of a gifted win. Only 7 cars really finished. So just going to have to just work on pace. I feel like I'm proud of myself for not making as many mistakes, because Indianapolis was a disaster. I mean, just all the spins and everything. But yeah, after that, so that was kind of just, okay, sorry. As far as like this race goes, God, I'm great with interviews. It was basically about just pitting pretty early. I went in with Lily because I went in the lap after Lily because I saw she came in. I was gonna pit a bit later in the race, but it turned out to work. It turned out to work pretty. Turned out pretty well. But yeah, sorry, I'm just tired. These things are a handful to drive.
Absolutely, they are a handful of drive, and that sort of brings us to, we had the first safety car restart, and obviously that was cold tires that were about 15 degrees Celsius colder than the initial start, and you had to walk through that. Going next week, and you add cold tires and a new environment to a new track in Algarve, a track we've never been to in ABN at all. What are you expecting going into that? Obviously, now you're in the championship conversation, completely and firmly in that conversation, tied at the top of the board. What does Algarve look like next week for you? You talk about putting in more time. Is that a race you're looking forward to, or is that a track you're sort of dreading because of the unknown?
I have no clue. I mean, I tend to do all of the tracks that I don't really know. So I'd like to say I'm a quick learner. It's just Indianapolis was not my day. It's really all about putting in more work and actually learning the layout and everything and getting up to speed on the track. I think if we had pace in Canada, it's not going to be a problem in Algarve.
Well, we're going to find out in 7 days' time. Obviously, you've got a lot of racing between now and then. Obviously, you have looks like a road course race in Suzuka that.
No, I'm suspended.
Well, hopefully, let's see how the appeal goes for you. But if so, we'd like to see you in Suzuka. If not, we will see you again next Saturday. We'll probably see you. Are we going to see you throughout the week? I'm trying to figure out. You're not in Champ Car. I'm trying to figure out.
No, I'm just in HCL Cup and Hyper Formula.
That's what I was trying to figure out. But either way, we'll see you again next week, and hopefully get to see you again tomorrow, so we can have some fun in Suzuka. But if not, we'll see you in Algarve. Before we let you go, though, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on your first win of the season in Hyper Formula, and congrats on now having a share of the spoils at the top of the board.
All right, well, thanks as always to James from Stepping Stone for all the support and for putting up with me for this now year and a half. It's amazing to have this home that I'm part of right now. And thanks to my mom for supporting me. I'm going to say financially and emotionally a lot of the time when the races go tough. But yeah. And thanks to you guys for putting up the broadcast. It's a lovely show to be a part of.
A lot of fun for Bianca Constantinou, who wins in Canada. Race win for the remaining driver for Stepping Stone Motorsports and for Ford. We'll see her again in Portugal in 7 days' time. Bianca, enjoy the race win, and we'll see you again in 7 days in Europe.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you on the podium.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
See you.
That was Constantinou, the race winner here in Montreal. We get to see her again in Portugal in 7 days. Again, look at the full results and the full point scoring as things run. Ford and Stepping Stone Motorsports top of the board. Gearcats and Peugeot on the board finally with some points. 21 points overall. Bruce Silver keeping the podium streak going for Dogbox Racing, Porsche, and then Josh Gaiman getting Stepping Stone way closer to the team championships fight here in Montreal. Taylor Mills Racing continues to lead the championship points in the team standings for the Grand Prix World Championships ahead of Stepping Stone Motorsports. That's a close fight. We'll see how everyone recovers next week in Montreal, or in Portimao from Montreal. But the Drivers' Championship is how things look here. Neil DeBacher and Bianca Constantinou sitting again level on points with 39. DeBacher's 2 poles this season so far. The tiebreaker between the 2 race winners. Taylor Mills 3rd. Josh Gaiman once again sitting in 4th. Pelletier Sharp in the top 5 in points there out of 1 race, but may miss Portimao next week. Tucker Sawyer, Garnet Adams, Bruce Silva, Rachel Conkley, and Rebecca Rennie top 10. Rennie not making the next couple races, so hopefully we get to see a little bit more from the Valfreya camp from the likes of Bobby Crivelli, who scored 4 points in his DNF earlier today. It's going to be wild times throughout the field here in Hyper Formula. Again, you get to see us again racing part 1 of 4 done this weekend. 8 p.m. Join us again here on ABN Studios for the Champ Car Challenger Series from Phoenix. Tomorrow on ABN 1 on Twitch. It's going to be the Winstell Cup Series from Watkins Glen at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. At 7 p.m. Eastern on ABN2, it is the regular season finale for the ARC's A-Square Cup Series to determine the playoff grid at Daytona International Speedway. Again, that's on ABN2 on Twitch at 7 p.m. Race 2 of the ABN Champ Car World Series is on Wednesday. It's right here on YouTube from Iowa Speedway, 178 laps. That all begins 8 p.m. on Wednesday. We hope to see you there as well. A lot of racing between now and next Wednesday. We hope to see you across the board. On behalf of everyone here for Hyper Formula, for ABN Studios, ABN Esports, all of our partners and all the teams and drivers, I'm Carmen, Sienna. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time out. We'll see you tonight from Phoenix Raceway. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next time.